What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to Motorsport Manager. We're back. It's episode 3 of our Let's Play, and I want to start off this episode by just apologising for the fact that this video, well, it's a day late. It's a day late because I recorded it once, and then I realised my microphone was muted, which wasn't ideal, so hopefully this time it is recording my voice. I mean, I can see it, so I don't need to worry. But yes, apologies. I'm recording this Monday morning before I go to work, so it is with you guys for Monday still. But yeah, hopefully you guys do enjoy. I will say, before we get into today's episode, I started a new little Let's Play of this just in my own time with BMW in Formula E using the ICE mod. And I've played like 4.5 seasons in a week. I think it'd be safe to say that I'm enjoying this game, and I feel like because of how much I've played, I actually kind of know roughly what I'm doing now for the most part, which is kind of nice. I am actually thinking about maybe streaming that BMW kind of save, maybe on Twitch sometime. Let me know if you'd be interested in seeing that. Maybe we could do something with that next weekend or during the week this week. But yeah, we're back here with Renault, of course, for our YouTube Let's Play at least. And, well, things, they've gone okay so far, I feel like. If we just look at our two drivers, you can see Hulkenberg, he's finished 12th twice in a row. And if we have a look at Palmer here, you can see he's finished 8th and he's finished 10th. So we've got some points on the board, which is kind of nice. And I'm hoping that today, going into a race at Dubai, we can kind of keep that going. That's got to be the aim. Now, one thing that I was thinking about a few weeks ago, well, during the last episode, was actually replacing my drivers mid-season. I'm actually not going to do that. And one of the reasons I'm not going to do that is because at least at the moment, we're making some quite nice money off our drivers. And I feel like this is a good opportunity this season, really, to just try and develop the car as best as possible. So, since the kind of last episode, I have kind of grown to understand a little bit more, I guess, about how to go about developing a car in terms of focusing on reliability to start the season and then looking kind of to build from there. And also kind of, you know, building your car with the next season in mind. So, you can see here we only have a level 2 factory at the moment because we're missing 2 slots. And actually I think that's one of the first things I might want to upgrade. Now because we're making some money, I am kind of willing to do that. So if we go over to our upgrade buildings and our factory here, it's going to cost 15 million. But it will allow us to develop more stuff and also improve our reliability quicker at the start of every season. And whilst it is going to eat up a big chunk of our budget, because of the amount of money we're making each race, I'm not that hesitant about doing it. So we're actually going to upgrade our factory to start things off here. I want to take the team to the next level, and a factory really provides a nice platform, I guess, for us to try and do that. Of course, we've already got a test track under construction, which is nice. There are a lot of other kind of new buildings I'd like to develop sooner rather than later, but, well, we just really don't have that infrastructure at the moment. Someone did tell me last episode to think about building the helipad to unlock 5-star sponsors. I'm not going to do that yet, and the reason I'm not going to do that yet is because we've only got 3-star sponsor appeal anyway, and our marketability really isn't that high. I feel like that's something maybe to do in the off-season when I perhaps look to replace 1 or 2 of our drivers. You can see looking at Palmer and Nico Hulkenberg here, they're both on fairly long contracts, and well, Sergej Sirotkin, you know, not a bad reserve driver by any means, but maybe someone who I could replace with a slightly younger driver with perhaps a little bit more potential. You know, we could have maybe a little bit of a scout around as we go through this season. There's some pretty talented young drivers here, but it is worth noting actually that we've not got the scouting facilities kind of upgraded at all. So if we wanted to find, you know, some better players, I would be looking to build the scout facility for 2.2 million. You know what, for 2.2 million, I'm just going to pull the trigger on that now. I was going to wait until the end of the season. But, as I said, we're making some nice money, so that's not so much of a concern for me. But anyway, we'll continue forward here. I can actually develop a new part. So, we upgraded our brakes last episode. We can still upgrade them once more to, you can see here, the kind of good level. So, I think we'll do that. And I'm going to improve the deceleration. And do I want to... I'll improve this as well, the deceleration plus 25 and reliability plus 5%. One thing that I learnt, and I believe this is true, someone can correct me if it's wrong, is the fact that the kind of plus to max deceleration, those don't actually affect your part going into next season. The way that kind of your components carry over and your parts carry over is basically the best base level. Of whatever kind of category a part it is used as a kind of a number that is then factored into the calculation of your car for the following year. So, yeah, we'll focus on this one. This is going to upgrade our brakes quite significantly to a good level. The reason we're going to do our brakes as well is just because they're not very good at the moment. If we just look at our car here as a whole, you can see we're pretty average in everything, but when it comes to our brakes, we're down in 7th. Our top speed is also a little bit of a concern, but you can see we're a lot closer to the average in that regard. So we might look to improve the brakes over time, but at least for now, we're going to stick with reliability. And you can see here our car really is still pretty unreliable, so we're going to look to, I guess, update this here and just help with the reliability. So we've got those new brakes, so we'll apply that there. We've got a new engine coming in, which is nice. You can see actually for the most part our reliability really isn't that bad, to be honest, but yeah, we'll keep improving it. I want to kind of balance everything out as we go through. But I feel like what we've just done there is a nice solid base to build off. A new headquarters kind of building's being built, which is good. That second set of new brakes is going to be coming in, but they're not going to be ready, I don't think, for the next race just due to their low reliability. And well, look what we have here. Jolyon Palmer, a new haircut, +5 marketability. Yes, I mean, his hair looks the same. It looks the same in the picture. Do we not have the technology to do that yet? I mean, I was expecting the game to Photoshop on like an afro, like in Football Manager with your regens that change their hair crazily. I'm a little bit disappointed now. But no, we're looking good here. You know, we got 5 points so far this season, and I'm hoping that we can kind of just build off that. I think Jolyon has got all the points we've got so far. Anyway, as I mentioned, I have... oh, wait, what can we do here? Right, we can merchandising opportunity... I don't want to make our racers unhappy. We're not in need of the money just yet, so we'll say that we're not interested in doing that. But yeah, what I was going to say was, like, as I mentioned at the start, I have been doing like a little BMW Let's Play, and I've really been enjoying this game. It's been a little bit different. As I said, I started with BMW in Formula E. I think I'm in Season 4 or Season 5 now. It might even be Season 5. Yeah, it's been going really, really well for me. I'm in Formula 1. I'm in my second year in F1. And I think we currently sit in 7th, which is not too bad for a brand new team that really didn't have the infrastructure when I was promoted from the IndyCar levels to compete. But right, okay, here's our car. New part is designed, it's some good brakes, which is nice. As I said, we want to focus on the reliability of them, really. The suspension's fairly reliable. We might be able to use our good brakes next race. I feel like that 45% reliability is going to be a bit too much of a risk, even for my liking. I like to roll the dice when I play games, but that's too much of a risk even for me. Anyway, let's upgrade our engine now. You can see a load of risky upgrades that we can do, which is a little bit annoying, because I kind of don't really want risky upgrades, but I believe, and someone can clarify this in the next episode because it might influence my decision, but parts with +1 risk, if you use them to improve your components and, well, the part itself for next season, the risk levels are removed. I believe that's the case. Someone can let me know if it is. See, I can make kind of a more consistent car, but I mean, we need those risky upgrades. It's a little bit of an annoying role that we've got there, because I don't really want to build anything too risky, and at the same time I don't want to build an engine that really doesn't have these components, which I'm not that happy with, in all honesty. So I don't know if we'll be improving that. We could look to maybe improve our acceleration, although it's really not that bad. Medium speed corners and low speed corners could do with some improvements. And let's get a new front wing on the go. And again, it's loads of high risk bits. I'll tell you what we'll start off by doing. We'll build just a really reliable front wing. Looking at the upgrades that follow this, there's a few for low speed corners, which is nice. So yeah, we'll look to, I think, to upgrade this. It's a fairly cheap upgrade as well. Unfortunately, not going to be ready before the next race, but it's going to put us in a good position, I think. I'm looking at our car as a whole, and well, on my BMW kind of save that I've been doing, it's been going quite well. In terms of the car itself isn't that great, but I've been kind of learning how to strategize in F1. You know, I've been learning to make cool, composed decisions, and well, hopefully, you're going to see a notable improvement between last episode and this episode. Anyway, we've been introduced to the GMA, which is great. And, well, we have potential rule changes. So there's stuff that we can change here. You can vote for stuff like the changing of qualifying formats, the number of tyres that you take into a race, all kinds of weird and wonderful things. But anyway, let's look here. We're going to have EasyJet as our sponsor. It's not the biggest bonus in the world, but it's not a bad one by any means. We can pick some tyres to bring with us. And actually, we can pick a fair few tyres. So I'm going to go with kind of a standard set that I've been using at BMW. You're going to notice, hopefully at least, I'm making more informed decisions. They're the tyres that we're going to go with. I'm not going to do what I did last time and just leave that to chance and kind of shrug my shoulders and let the game choose for me. I'm going to take control of my own destiny here going into Dubai. Anyway, we're going to go into the practice session here, guys. I'll join you towards the end of practice session. You guys will be able to see kind of how we've been getting on, and hopefully we'll be in a good position going into qualifying. Okay, guys, so you join me here towards the end of qualifying. It's been a bit of a weird session, to be honest. We're playing at Dubai, and the thing with the Dubai track is it's one of the longest in the game by quite a long margin. As a result, I've not really been able to get in that many practice laps, especially on a racing kind of trim level. So I'm quickly sending out my drivers now. They're not even going to get a full lap in, so it's probably not even going to be of that much use to me. But you can see here, we've managed to get good and excellent in most factors. I've just adjusted Hulkenberg's. I'm not going to fiddle with Palmer's too much, just because I'll probably end up offsetting it more. But yeah, you can see here, looking at the way we've been set up, it's been a bit of a poor session. We've only actually been able to get in 3 practice laps on this track, because it is a track that is, well, almost 2 minutes long in length. But we're doing okay. We're going to try and get that racing trim up just to level 1 or 2 if we can. Unfortunately, I don't even think that's going to be possible. But all in all, it's been an okay practice session here. I'll be honest, until the last set of laps I just did, I was really worried. I thought we'd screwed up big time. But yeah, we've got level 1 racing trim, which is something, I guess. But that is not going to reach level 2. That might help us on race day. You can see we've got quite a good knowledge of the super soft medium tyres. But yeah, it's a little bit problematic, obviously, just a lack of laps, really. Out and doing point here. We've not been able to get as much practice as we'd like. But you can see here, all excellent for Hulkenberg, which is nice with those tweaks that we just put in. Jolyon Palmer, on the other hand, all on great. I can live with that. That's going to give us a nice platform going into qualifying. And unlike last episode, I'm not going to kind of fast forward through practicing and qualifying. Instead, I'm just going to do what I did there, pick up things at the end of practice sessions. And then for qualifying, I do want a live comment, because there's always drama to qualifying. And well, we're going to start off on the qualifying trim, which we did get to level 3, and the super soft tyres. So hopefully we can have some good performances here. Well, let's just have a look. Hulkenberg set up 98% optimization. Lovely stuff. That is exactly what I want to see. Palmer's not quite so good, but it's not too shabby by any means. I could here leave my drivers out on the kind of the pit wall and let them just wait for grip to build up on the track. But at least from my brief experience now playing this game, I found that the grip doesn't seem to make as big a difference as you'd imagine. So actually, I just want to get the drivers out as quick as possible and get them through, I guess, the traffic, hopefully. And just get them set in a flying lap immediately. I'm going to put the heating on auto. Someone mentioned, Jack, you can put the heating on auto last episode rather than micromanaging the sliders. I've started doing that in my own kind of other save as well. But the reason I'm going to do it is because in real life, as a motorsport manager or as a team principal or whatever you want to call them, you don't really sit there telling the drivers how to manage their tyres. Like, that just doesn't happen. And I'm actually going to be doing the same with the ERS, I think, at least initially, is letting the drivers just have control of their ERS, let them micromanage their own races. I kind of feel like that makes the most sense. But anyway, let's see what we can do here. Palmer, half a second off the leaders early on, which is not great. Hulkenberg only 0.35 seconds off. And, well, he's kept that fairly stable now going into the last sector. Really just hoping to get to Q3 with at least one of our cars. But I do feel like that is going to be a challenge for us. But Hulkenberg here, how's he going to get on? He is going to set a time that's not too bad. Half a second faster than Palmer. So Palmer not with the greatest time, really. It's not a kind of whirlwind time by any means by Hulkenberg, but you can see a lot of the drivers ahead of us are in the faster cars. We're looking at the likes of Kvyat, Sainz Jr., Ericsson, I guess Verline as well, just to kind of be a bit slower in the not so great cars. And we'll see where we end up. And it does look like there's a chance at least that we could have 2 cars in the next session, which would be very, very nice indeed. Now, because of how long the laps are on this track, I don't know if other cars are going to be able to get around for a second flying lap. I don't think they'll be able to complete their outlaps to set another time. So, I feel like that is actually how things are going to stay here. And we are going to have 2 cars into Q2, which would be very nice indeed. A little bit unfortunate, I guess, is the fact that, of course, Q2 is within our sponsor objectives. But at the moment, at least, we wouldn't kind of have the speed to get into Q3. It is worth noting track grip really has built up now, though, so that's good. We don't need to send the cars out for another lap, I don't think. I'm confident, and I'm hopeful at least, this could be a massive screw-up. They're not all going to complete their outlaps. And if they now do complete their outlaps and set faster times, I will apologise to my drivers, and it is on me. And maybe that I think about it, I should have just sent them out to cover themselves, because you can see Grosjean and Magnussen, they are both on flying laps, as is Kvyat. Let's have a look at Grosjean here. He could be the biggest threat to us. He's not doing too badly here. He's coming into the last bend now. He's in 18th at the moment. Where is he going to end up? He's going to stay. In fact, he's gone up to 14th. And Palmer's been knocked down. Palmer on the edge here. Kvyat and Magnussen on good laps. Palmer holds his position to Wehrlein. Kvyat, last man who can maybe put a nail in the coffin for us. Where's he going to go? He's going to go 20th still. So Palmer looks like he will cling on. Ericsson on a very, very poor lap there. So 2 cars into Q2. That's a good start today. I can live with that, and hopefully now we can keep that momentum going into the next session. Bottas quickest on the grid, Hamilton not that far behind. I think I saw Lance Stroll up there, which is a little bit curious that he's doing as well as he is. Yeah, he is. You can see the Williams car actually really enjoying this track, as is the Force India. But we do at least make it through the first qualifying session, which is good. You can see the Saubers, the Haas of Magnussen going out. Stoffel Van Dorn as well in the McLaren. He's going to be really disappointed, particularly because Fernando Alonso is up in 9th. But anyway, let's go into Q2 here. I'm going to take, I think, a similar attitude here. The track grip will now have built up. The other thing about going out early, at least on this track, is that if I want to, as we saw a few other cars do there, you do really have the possibility to go out and do a second flying lap. So that is something we can kind of look to do here. I might just quickly actually look at, this is a little bit risky. I'm going to change the downforce slightly and just lower it a smidge on Palmer to try and get that slightly improved, because we are currently out of the recommended mechanic range. So hopefully that will go up to excellent, and that won't have too much of an impact on the handling or speed balance. So anyway, we'll send him out here. We'll see what he can do. 10 minutes back on the clock of this Q3 session, or of this Q2 session rather. We're looking to get into Q3 though. That's got to be the aim here. Of course, in real life, the Renault, to be honest, hasn't looked that bad. If you watch the Chinese Grand Prix, Hulkenberg was a little bit naughty, wasn't he? Hopefully he's not going to be kind of speeding or overtaken under any safety cars or virtual safety cars today. But we'll see how he gets on. And Palmer, of course, not had the greatest start to the season in real life. For us, he's doing quite well for Renault, and I'm hoping he can keep that going. And yeah, well, we'll see how he gets on. The both drivers on their flying laps here. And as I mentioned, you know, we do have the option with this kind of strategy of going out as soon as we are, of going out for a second set of flying laps in this session. Also worth noting that because we do have 2 drivers into this session, we are now in a position whereby we are guaranteed to hit our sponsor objective for this qualifying session, which is not too bad at all. So we'll see where Palmer and Hulkenberg end up. They're quite a way off the pace actually. You can see Palmer over a second behind Vettel, who leads the way. So I might be tempted to send our drivers out for another lap. It is worth noting, of course, last episode I let the AI pick my tyres for me. This time I picked my tyres, and I picked a lot more super softs than previous the previous weekend, where we didn't have enough to kind of have another crack at the cherry kind of later on in the qualifying session. But because of the fact that I've got those tyres in reserve, we are in a position now where we can just send out our drivers on another set of super softs, and we still have 4 fresh tyres either for the next qualifying session or for the next race. And it's a similar story you can see here with Palmer. Actually, he's only got 3 left over, but I don't expect to see him go 3. But we'll let him have a go, I guess, to do better. You can see Hulkenberg in 11th at the moment. So I'm hopeful that maybe he can have a really, really good lap here. Verstappen's done well. I'd be surprised if some of these cars don't go out for another outlap. You can see a lot of the cars around us are going out again. Or at least Grosjean is. I expect to see a few more of these cars kind of try and push it out. You can see Raikkonen's going to go out again. Alonso going out again in the McLaren. They really have been our big rival. Hulkenberg and, well, his automatic management doing very, very good work of managing his temperatures, both at perfect levels. So let's see what he can do. He is, at the moment, in P11, and well, after the first sector he's half a second behind the leaders, which is pretty good, but we've been losing a lot of time in this second sector. I think it's this long straight. We just don't have the straight line speed required, and you can see his second sector, not his best by any means, but still within touching distance of the teams ahead. can he just have a really good last sector here? Going to cross the line, and unfortunately for us, he's not going to be able to do it. He lost a lot of time in that last sector, and well, Palmer wasn't able to improve on his times either. So unfortunately for us, we are going to have to settle for P11 and P14 on the grid. But that's not too bad, you know, I'm kind of happy with that. I feel like that's been a benchmark this season, has been to try and scrape points by finishing in the top 10. You can see here Alonso doing a very, very nice job of moving up into 9th. Unfortunately, Sainz, the only person who can actually kind of overtake Palmer now, is on a very good lap. But he does finish it, and he is only going to be in P15. So that's okay. Hamilton, the fastest on the grid by quite a margin, actually. You can see Bottas 0.8 seconds behind him. And, well, we're not going to be involved in Q3, unfortunately. But I'm not too worried about that. You can see we only finished marginally behind the Red Bulls. Or one of the Red Bulls at least. You can see actually Red Bull were really struggling here. Ricciardo 6th on the grid, Verstappen in 11th. We did hit our targets, and now we can simulate this qualifying session. I would be amazed if Hamilton or Bottas isn't leading the way on the grid, but we'll see how things go here. And yeah, you can see here Hamilton and Bottas leading the way. Not going to be a lot of time, I don't think, for them to set a second set of flying laps. In fact, there is. So everyone doing a second set. Is anything going to change here? Hamilton still leads the way to Bottas. Ricciardo did very, very well indeed. And, well, Vettel and Raikkonen in P4 and P5. Fairly predictable, I guess, qualifying there. A lot of the teams kind of similar speeds to one another. And certainly teammates kind of going to be lining up alongside each other on the grid, which is interesting. And, yeah, well, we're going to get straight into race day here. But, yeah, I'm happy with P12 and P14's okay. I'm hoping we can build off that, obviously, in the race. Unfortunately for us, we're not going to have the fortune of a wet race here in Dubai. That's just not going to be something that happens. But we'll see what we can do in terms of just out-strategizing, I guess. We'll see what we can do here. In terms of the car setups, I think we will start on the super softs. They're good to last 8 to 10 laps. The race itself is 15 laps. It's worth noting in Motorsport Manager that you do not have to run 2 compounds in dry races. We may well have to actually do that for Palmer here. His smoothness driving rating isn't as good as Hülkenberg, so his tyres do kind of get worn through that little bit quicker. But we have got the softs that we could go on to. We've got 4 fresh sets, so there's no shortage of tyres, put it that way. So we'll see how we get on here. It's going to be a tricky race. I'm going to start with our drivers both to kind of attack with their tyres just to get them up to temperatures early on. Of course, the drivers leading the way in the grid, they're all going to be locked in with the tyres they finished kind of the first qualifying session on. So that might be beneficial for Hülkenberg on slightly fresher tyres. Verstappen are only running the soft compound rather than the super soft. But we'll see what we can do here. And as I mentioned, I'm going to put the ERS on kind of driver controlled. And well, we'll see what we can do here. Palmer not having a bad start. Hülkenberg makes the jump on Verstappen. He drops down. Unfortunately, he is going to earn both those spots back. Nice driving by him there. But Palmer up to 13th is good on this opening lap. We'll see what we can do here. I'm going to position my camera so it lines up with the radar here. So it kind of represents what you see. But yeah, you can see here Hülkenberg and Palmer both losing spots early on, which is less than ideal. But we have got our temperatures up to... our tyre temperatures up to temperature fairly quickly here. I have got to be wary of the fact this is a fairly hot race because we're in Dubai, we're in a desert, and so I may have to switch our tyres to conserve periodically in order to see them out. But well, we'll see what we can do here. Both drivers struggling a little bit early on, but of course it's the first lap. We're not expecting too much here, but it is a very long lap too. Of course, the sponsor objective is to finish 14th or above, which Hülkenberg is doing at the moment, I'm pleased to say. And well, Palmer having a cheeky little go at Hülkenberg there on the inside. Couldn't quite beat him out. But, well, so far so good. We can now kind of settle into a rhythm as far as I'm concerned. You can see our tyre temperatures are creeping up. That because, as I mentioned, we're racing in a desert here. And I do want to be kind of careful with our tyres because I am hoping to do a one-stop with Hülkenberg on 2 sets of super softs. There is the option, of course, of going onto the soft compound for his second stint. But if we can make it work on 2 super softs, I feel like that would be ideal. Obviously, lots of tyre management going to be done by everyone. You can see a few other people really backing up their tyres and well, just using them normally. We are the only team who aren't pushing our engine yet. We'll put it into the high mode, at least for now. We are going to burn a fair bit of fuel. Someone did mention, actually, last episode that I should put my engine mode on higher and aim to be around 0 at all times because it will mean my car's lighter. So we'll see how that fares for us. But Hulkenberg up into 13th now, so he has made that move on Grosjean's stick, who is on the medium tyres. Might be trying to do the entire race on one set of tyres, Grosjean, which would be interesting if they manage to pull it off. That's going to take some real tyre management. And we are kind of now approaching the pit window for the leading cars here. You know, first to 8th, all of course, cars who are on those super softs that they used for qualifying. They are probably going to have to do two stops, not super stops. I'm thinking of my different tyres here. They are going to have to do 2 stops or move on to the medium tyre, which of course is the slower compound, which definitely benefits us. Tyre temperature is starting to creep down a little bit now, so we'll put it back into neutral just so it can work its way back up. But, you know, I want to maximise performance by keeping the tyre temperatures around the middle of the road for as long as we can. It is worth noting, from my experience at least, and this may well just be, you know, a bit of a placebo, it doesn't feel like tyre temperature impacts graining that much on the tyres in terms of their condition. It seems like they kind of grain at a fairly similar rate, and that is largely dictated just by the kind of driving style that you're going with, be it aggressive, be it not so aggressive. You can see here, Palmer's tyres, they are a little bit tired. I'm hoping he might be able to get 2 more laps out of it. He was at 40% going into the kind of 4th corner here. So at the end of the lap, towards the end of the lap, if it's anything around 30, I might bring him in. It looks like he is going to struggle actually to get 1 more lap out of these tyres. I'm going to tell him to conserve them. We'll turn up his engine mode as well. I kind of want him to make these tyres last 1 more lap. That would open up the option for him to stay on the super softs as well. You can see a lot of those cars have gone into the pit who started the race on their super softs, and actually a fair few of them have gone onto the soft compound, looking to make that last the entire race. Hamilton, clearly confident in his tyre wear, has gone onto the super softs as well. We'll see if that works out for him. But yeah, I think we're going to have to pit Palmer this lap. His tyre wear is down to 23%. Do I think he can last on another set of super softs? That would be a bit of a challenge for him. There's 9 laps remaining. I'm going to go with the super softs and just let him push on them, I think. I think that's going to be our best bet here. We'll put him back up to the neutral driving style now, as he is going to go around this last bend and into the pit. So 21% condition to end that stint. That's not too bad at all. Hulkenberg is going to have to come in this lap. There is currently 8 laps remaining. We can make those super softs work. Hulkenberg a little bit better with his driving smoothness attribute, which does mean he can make the tyres last a little bit longer. And as I mentioned, we're not in a position in Motorsport Manager where we're forced to use both compounds, so we can just make this work. So we'll see how we get on here. I am going to have to be careful of the tyre temperature. You can see it's already starting to creep up a little bit with Palmer. But yeah, so far so good, I feel like, for Hulkenberg. It'll be interesting to see going into the pit here. Do we come out in P13, or are we going to come out slightly higher than that? Have we pitted at the right time? It looks like we are actually going to gain 1 spot at least and be up into 12th, which is not too bad at all. Palmer in 13th as well. It feels like we've perhaps not even moved that much here, but it's going to be interesting now for Hulkenberg to see how he gets on with this race. Because well, he's going to be on the super softs, and everyone around us is on the mediums or softs, and actually there's a fair few people ahead of us who are yet to stop. So actually I feel like we are going to have made up a few spots with this pit stop strategy that we've gone with of the slightly longer first stint. I feel like we have been beneficiaries of course, the fact that those that qualified in the final qualifying session started on those worn tyres. But yeah, we'll see how Hulkenberg gets on here. He's up to 10th, which is already pretty decent. Palmer in 11th. Still 4 cars ahead of us yet to stop as well. So this could turn into a very, very good race day for us. Have just got to be conscious of tyre wear here. You can see Palmer's temperatures are creeping up. So are Hulkenberg's. He has now made that position kind of his now as well, ahead of the Force India and Esteban Ocon, who's now down in 10th. Actually, the car's slightly further ahead, not all that far away as, well, Hulkenberg, he makes a move on Lance Stroll, makes him look like he's not even there, and now he's got the next Williams in his sight. That is going to be Massa, and actually Verline, who's on the medium tyres, is also potentially going to be taken by Hulkenberg here. Very, very nice driving by him indeed. Can he make it stick here on Massa? He can't. Unfortunately, Massa having a bit of a tussle here with Hulkenberg. But that was us going past one of the cars in the pit. That car, I'm not sure who it was. It may well have been Grosjean, actually, pitting away there. It was. It looks like he's going in for some repairs too. Fortunately, our reliability is fairly good, so I'm not concerned about having to make a stop to improve it. Palmer's engine, perhaps a little bit of a concern there, but we'll see how we get on. But you can see tyre temperature's back down to normal for Hulkenberg, so we will now just put him back onto the neutral drive style. 3 laps remaining in this race. Hulkenberg up to 5th, having a very, very good race indeed. Unfortunately, however, I think we are going to have to bring Palmer into the pit. I don't really want to risk his engine. We're currently in P10, which isn't too bad. Unfortunately, this could see us lose out on our race, but it's only going to be... I was about to say it's only going to be an engine fix. That's still 20 seconds, and I would see us exit in 17th. I feel like I just have to YOLO it, unfortunately, with Palmer. There's not much point in pitting him because it's just going to remove all possibility of getting any points with him. I feel like a lot of our kind of hope here is with Hulkenberg. You can see Palmer going to be struggling with that engine. May well be forced into a retirement with, what, 2.5 laps left of this race. It's a long lap as well. But we'll see how we get on here. You can see ahead of Hulkenberg, Massa's struggling. Alonso's not that far ahead either. 2 laps left. I'm going to tell Hulkenberg to push these tyres a little bit more now. There's still plenty of life left in them, I think, for him to have a real good go for the last 2 laps. We will have to just keep an eye on his tyres. But he is now up to 4th. Can he make this move stick? Massa, despite his car condition problems, still providing a little bit of trouble for Hulkenberg to try and get past. But we are eventually going to make that move stick, which is good. Going to turn up Palmer's engine mode as well. And well, we're going into the final lap here. Hulkenberg in 4th, Palmer in 10th. Really hoping that Palmer's kind of engine and tyres will hold out here. Hulkenberg should be okay. In fact, I'm going to put him on a more attacking style just to try and build that gap on Massa if we can. Unfortunately, I feel like a podium is just going to be a little bit too far ahead of us here. But Hulkenberg has done very, very well indeed here to make that kind of first stint work, make it last as long as it did. And Palmer actually up to 9th now. Hulkenberg going to hold on to 4th. Great performance by him. Jolie and Palmer, no one around him. Those engine worries were a concern. We've decided to risk it. It's been worth it today. We've got that chocolate biscuit. He's in 9th. And you'd have to say, that's a very, very, very good kind of race as far as we're concerned. Hulkenberg, fantastic stuff there. Makes 4th place his own, considering how far back on the grid he started. And, well, you can see here, Palmer, if we just look at his engine, it's not going to be very happy. It's on 3% condition. That is just, we shouldn't be risking it like that, but we have done, and it's worked out for us at least today. And we're going to get some really nice points, actually, on the board there. You can see Hulkenberg really made that first stint last. You can see Sainz also did a similar strategy, although he went on the super softs. Kvyat kind of did the reverse of that, starting on the softs and ending on the super softs. What happened to Hamilton? Hamilton, you can see he went with softs and then softs again, but clearly lost a lot of time somewhere. He might have had to have been in the pits for quite a while, getting some repairs done, I guess, during that first stop, or maybe had some engine problems towards the end of the race. But yeah, as far as we're concerned, that is a top performance. Hulkenberg made up 8 places, and Palmer made up 5 places as well, so that really did work well for us. 14 points earned for us. Kvyat, he's been a naughty boy and has been demoted 2 places for having some dodgy parts in his car. But, well, that is a much improved performance that does see us kind of rocket up the team championship a little bit. And, well, really, I want to be challenging with McLaren and Force India this year. And, well, with performances like that, I'm starting to believe that might well be a possibility. That has got to be something that we aim for and dare to dream about for next time, I guess. But, really, I can't fault the team performance one little bit there. That is more than what I wanted. Hulkenberg in 4th. I don't know if it was apparent watching that I kind of knew what I was doing a little bit more. If there was anything that you noticed, actually, in that race that I should have done differently, please do let me know what that was. You know, I'm still learning. You know, I've played a little bit more of this game, but I'm still not claiming to be an expert by any means. So that if you do have anything that you noticed that I can maybe improve upon, please let me know. I feel like my tyre management wasn't too bad there in terms of maintaining the temperature. Yeah, we got a lot of performance out of our car there. And that's important, actually, that we got the points that we did, because I wasn't expecting us to do as well as that, it'd be fair to say. And, well, that front wing's been built as well. It's all coming up Millhouse for us today. I can't complain one little bit. We're in a nice little position. We can start to upgrade our car once more, but yeah, you can see Hamilton obviously was on pole position, really screwed up. I don't know what happened to Bottas and co as well. In terms of the car condition, it did degrade a fair bit, but we did okay. Susie Parry has a question for us. Go on then. What's the question, Susie? Hulkenberg was beaten up by Bottas today. Would you consider bringing him in for next season? If I say no, I have 100% belief in our drivers. I think that means that Bottas just won't be interested in ever talking to us. At the same time, I don't think Bottas is someone who I'm going to be able to sign in the next year. So having that isn't the end of the world. You can see Bottas did well. I'm relatively happy with how that race went. We've got our new front wing as well. Just to end off this episode, I think we'll design a new front wing as a celebration here. So we'll improve our low-speed corners, and we'll also improve our reliability as well. And that's what we'll go with. And that will be done actually before next race. Unfortunately, I don't think it will be kind of up to our high enough reliability to use, but at least it's there. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up today's episode from me. Hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, leave a like. As I said, if you've got any comments, any tips for me, anything that I should have done differently, either in the race or when it came to what we upgraded with our headquarters and parts, I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. And other than that, thank you so much for watching as always. It is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.